Hey guys, it's Aonso, and welcome back to the 29th edition of me embarrassing myself. If this is your first time with us, allow me to extend a personal invitation to grab your paint, grab some brushes, and paint along with us. If you're back, let me allow myself to. If this is your first time painting with us, allow me to extend a fresh invitation. I can't do this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Clearly, I've been watching too much Bob Ross, and I've had a lot of requests to talk about a certain book series that is doing something that I haven't really talked about, and I thought the best way to talk about it would be to react to book trailers. That didn't really work out, and I've been watching some Bob Ross and I thought, you know what, let's grab our paints. I'm gonna run the colors along the screen right now and we're gonna paint a birdhouse. If you're wondering whether I've lost it, yes, I have. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Hush Hush while I paint a birdhouse, and you're probably wondering, Casey, what does painting a birdhouse have anything to do with Hush Hush and the fact that it's getting turned into a movie? Well, it actually has nothing to do with it being a movie, but honestly, the subject just kind of gets me so riled up that I realized it might be best if I do something calming while I talk about it and kind of all the news swirling around it. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Go ahead, grab some paints, grab a birdhouse or whatever kind of house. I truly don't know what bird is fitting in here. This is more of maybe like an ant house. So we're gonna build a nice ant house for the ants and talk about the book. If you guys don't know what Hush Hush is, it is a story about a fallen angel and a girl, and I know you're already rolling your eyes. It's terrible, it's so cringy, I hate myself for loving it, but it was one of those things where I read it back when it came out in like 2009 and loved it. I wasn't really into, what color do we want to do? I feel like a nice sky blue will work for a top. But anyway, I wasn't really into Twilight. I wasn't really into, what was the other big one? There was another one that was really big at the time that I didn't really like. So I had kind of missed the hype on those and found myself obsessing and loving that series. And I really enjoyed it. I still love it to this day. I've tried to reread it and be judgmental and kind of understand where people are coming from. And I totally do understand where people come from when they say that they don't like the series, but I just love it. So anyways, back to why it's relevant now, considering the series ended, I think in 2011. A couple years back when the series had actually ended, it was said that it was going to be picked up for a movie on Becca Fitzpatrick's website. But then a couple months later, it just for some reason kind of fell through. I'm not surprised, and I wasn't surprised when it happened because at that point, people had kind of stopped, or I guess movie production companies had stopped looking towards books because they realized that like, even if there's a big fan base for a book, they're not gonna watch a shitty movie. So I thought that the Hush Hush movie was pretty much just never going to happen, and I went about my life happily accepting that fact until I think it was last month when I suddenly got all of these people tweeting me and adding me in a Variety article that said that the movie had been picked up again. I don't know why anybody would pick up that movie again, considering it hasn't had any, like, no one's talking about it right now. It makes absolutely zero sense that anybody would want to pick up this movie, and I'm considering this as a personal attack on myself. I feel like Becca Fitzpatrick just wants to ruin my life, and that's the only way I'm taking it as. After the Variety article, I'm like, okay, you know what, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Like, I still wasn't 100% sure it was even gonna happen. Then they cast the people that were gonna be Patch, Patch and Nora. This is where I've been having issues with how to film this kind of video, because when you kind of start talking about issues with casting, people start to think that you're making a personal attack on people's appearances or the way that they look. Listen, I'm the first person to have the most open mind when it comes to casting for a book. Like, I'm not typically the type of person that kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't typically like to get mad if my depiction of a character in my mind isn't the same as the movie. Like, I obviously understand that sometimes it's just not going to be the same. But the guy who's playing Patch looks like he vapes. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm literally just saying that is my first impression of this guy who's supposed to be play Patch. And I've never heard of this guy ever. I've also, the girl who's supposed to play Nora, I don't have as big of an issue with her, but she also looks like the girl from Camp Rock. Like the mean girl. The one who was blonde. I forget her name. I think her name's like Tiffany something. But yeah, I'm very confused on the casting idea for that, because I don't know if maybe I just kind of pictured Patch as someone who was like kind of on the slender side, has tan skin, long dark hair, but I definitely didn't picture him as somebody who would probably be seen lining up outside of a Supreme store. Also, I'm terrified because I'm pretty sure the budget for this movie is not going to be that good, and if Twilight was bad and they had a big old budget, what are we getting ourselves into here? And when I say that this franchise is trying to ruin my life, I mean this quite literally, because honestly already when I tell people that Hush Hush is one of my favorite books, I get those side eyes. But at least it's the kind of side eyes that I only get from people that have actively gone and read the book, or people who've seen the book cover and judge it by the book cover, which that's a different discussion. But if you turn it into a movie that people will watch and it probably will be bad, you're basically just ruining my life. This is the other thing. I feel like movie companies are sliding back into doing book to movie adaptations, but why was Hush Hush even on the list? And I'm not even saying this to be like annoying, but it's such an old book and it makes no sense. Like, I'm very confused. I'm pretty sure also the director was someone who did, she had some role in the Vampire Diaries series, which that is the only thing that I'm like, okay, maybe this could be all right, because I didn't, like, I watched a few seasons of the Vampire Diaries. I didn't read the books because I just didn't really like the books. But I thought that series was decent, but it's just, when you turn it into a movie, all I can picture is just like the lowest budget W Network. Ugh. I'm just really afraid this is going to be something where it turns into that after movie fiasco where Pia Mia is a character, because that makes any sense at all. Can we actually talk about that for a second? Why the fuck is Pia Mia in that movie? Like, why is she in that movie? But anyways, when I was kind of sitting there complaining about how Patch doesn't look like Patch, I was trying to figure out who does look like Patch. Like, who would be a good Patch? And I was actually having a really hard time with it. I was thinking maybe someone who looks like a cross between Tyler Posey and I don't even know. I feel like Tyler Posey with long hair would be the best kind of version of Patch if there was one, but it's just one of those things where I can already picture Patch being the most cringy character ever. Like, some of the stuff he said, oh my god. Like, okay, if you haven't read the book, he calls Nora Angel, which you're probably being like, Casey, that's not that cringy. It is though. It is. And the thought of him actually referring to Nora as Angel in a movie setting kind of just makes my eyeballs want to recede back into my brain. This is going to go down as the streakiest birdhouse ever. Oh my god, this is actually 10 times harder than I thought it was going to be. And my birdhouse looks like shit. I think the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some green, some shrubbery to the birdhouse while, I don't really know. It's one of those things where, like, I just can't get over the fact that it is 2018. Almost 10 years after the first book came out, and there's actually going to be a movie for it. Part of me is a little bit excited, mainly because it gives me an excuse to reread the series, because I love that series so much, but why? I honestly meant to only expose myself as a trashy YA lover, but I seem to also be simultaneously exposing myself as literally the worst painter in the world, so that's great. I'm not sure what to do with the sky. Maybe I'll add some clouds or something. Another thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person on the planet who doesn't like the casting. I was looking through the comments of someone had like made an Instagram post being like, oh my god, here's Patch and Nora. And either all of the comments were in Spanish, or they were people being like, oh my god, yes, they are so perfect for the role. And it just kind of had me thinking, like, am I stroking out? This was a terrible decision. Like, what are these? They don't even look like clouds. Oh my god, this is literally heinous. Oh, this is really bad. I feel like this is a visual representation of how the filming of Hush Hush is going to go. Starts out with good intentions, seems like it's going to be all good, and then you just end up with something really messy and embarrassing. These don't look like clouds. Oh my god, these are embarrassing. I'm actually embarrassed to turn the house around. This is really embarrassing. I feel like I should be acting like a beauty guru with like, alright guys, so I'm just going to take my Sigma 349E and I'm just going to be doing windshield wiper motions on my birdhouse's eyelid just to create a cohesive effect. Oh my god, this is the ugliest thing I've ever done in my entire life. This is actually the most embarrassing thing ever. What are those? I'm not sure what direction I was going in with this house, but the direction it's taking is not good. Considering this thing is basically a mess, we're gonna paint the back yellow for absolutely no reason. Oh, it's starting to look like puke. The back of my house looks like a hot Cheeto. The front of my house isn't finished yet. The side of it looks like a hot Cheeto, and oh, like that's not even cute. Oh, and now I have paint on my book. All right, we're gonna focus on the front because this is clearly just going terrible, and I can't even stand to look at the back of that house right now. You know what? Let's go bold. We're gonna do a dark blue. I'm curious though, let me know in the comments down below, are any of you guys excited for the Hush Hush movie? Or are you not? Are you kind of in the middle like I am? Because I'm definitely gonna watch it, don't get me wrong. If you thought I wasn't watching that shit, I'm going to be watching it the minute it comes out, but I don't think it's definitely not gonna be in theaters. It'll probably be like a straight to DVD. If they somehow convince a movie theater to play that shit in any place in the world, they could be like, okay, Hush Hush is only playing in a theater in Brazil. I would go to Brazil. Why? Because Becca Fitzpatrick, if you pull that shit off, you're the scammer of the century, and I want to see that shit in real life. And I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. What am I even supposed to do about this? I just realized this house has no red on it, and I feel like a birdhouse isn't complete with red, but I'm not sure how to... You know what? Let's set this house on fire. Alright, so I'm just going to do a little bit of that. I thought I fucked up this house by doing the back wrong. It literally looks like I just sprayed ketchup and mustard all over the side of this house. Alright, well, I've already fucked it up, so I might as well make it a cohesive fuck up. I feel like while I'm burning my house down, I might as well talk about why I like the book series so much, because I know I get that question a lot when people ask. Like, they're not asking out of like, why do you like that series so much? But people are just genuinely interested in why I like it so much and why I'm embarrassed of it. I wouldn't say I'm embarrassed in liking the series. I think it's more so I know that it's a cringy series and I kind of like to make light of that and joke about it, so it seems as though I'm genuinely embarrassed about it. But in all honesty, I don't actually think I'm that embarrassed of it. The main reason I think I like it so much is it's just one of those kind of like easy to digest, like bad boy, good girl kind of thing, and I typically don't like those kind of books, which I'm sure you guys are well aware of from my Wattpad video, but there was just something about that when I read as a kid that I really liked about it. So I just kind of continued to enjoy it. I never really, I guess, I don't want to say got over the book. It's not like the book broke up with me. But just every time I read it, it's kind of more than just a book. It's like, I'll read certain chapters and I'm like, I remember when I read this when I was little, and I remember being so shook by like what happened. And there's just something about it that, once again, it's just a really easy to digest story, and it's enjoyable. Like every time I read it, I'm like, yes, this is quality content. I feel like everybody kind of has a book like that, that they love, that they know is kind of like cringy and people don't really like for the most part, but enjoy it anyway, and it's kind of like their safe space in a book form. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I always, whenever I do rant reviews now, I try to include the disclaimer, because people don't seem to understand that, like, if you like the book, like, I'm not judging you, because I like shitty books too, and I think that's what makes reading fun. This is literally the trashiest birdhouse I think I've ever made in my entire life, so we will name it as such. I feel like Bob Ross when he's making his initial on his thing. Maybe I should actually add some birds flying away from this mess, because God knows this is literally the worst thing that's ever been produced on YouTube. You know, now that I look at the finished product, I'd like to think that this house kind of represents Hush Hush turning into a movie in a birdhouse kind of way. I have paint all over my fingers. I'm pretty sure I have paint in my ear because I accidentally dropped a paintbrush and it flung into my ear before it fell, because that's normal. If you enjoyed this video, I doubt it, but if you did, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel. If you're excited or not excited about the Hush Hush movie, let a girl know your thoughts down in the comments below. As well, if you want to keep up with my shit outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.
Have your cake and eat it. Have your cake.